Alrighty, folks. What is going on, everybody? This is Justin Martinez, aka Jada Sports Dude, coming to y'all live from my apartment. Hopefully, you all are staying at your homes as well, practicing social distancing and staying safe during this pandemic. And I'm here to provide y'all with a little bit of extra entertainment. That's right, folks. It is time for New Mexico State versus Chicago State. This is the first matchup between the two squads from last season, and it's a part of our month-long journey to go back and watch as many of these games as we can from the 2019-2020 season. And we are just now getting into conference play. We watched the conference opener against Cal Baptist last night, and now it's time for a matchup against the Cougars. Hopefully everybody is doing well. You guys know the drill by now. If you have been following this, I'm pulling up the live stream right here on my phone just so that I can really quickly change the title of the video, because it still says versus Cal Baptist. And then I also need to just make sure that I'm in frame, all that good stuff. But like I said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully y'all are doing well, staying safe. Hopefully y'all had a good weekend as well. It's going to call this versus Chicago State, Game 1. There we go. Looks like I'm in frame, not too bad. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with this, folks. Without any further ado, an hour and 17 minutes is the length of this one. I do have it on mute just so that way you guys can understand what I'm saying, because it's very hard to find that balance between what I'm saying and what the commentators are saying. So we see Evan handling the ball here. At this point is the starter the rest of the way, with AJ Harris having gotten hurt in that last game against Cal Baptist. So now it is him and Sean Buchanan as the two true point guards on the active roster. Speaking of Evan, he gets it out to Jabari, top of the arc. Cash money. 3-0. Got a little something on the laptop there. I had to wipe that off. Yeah, Chicago State, this is one of those matchups that is about as close to a sure win as you can really get in the WAC. This is a team that's been in the bottom of the conference past couple seasons. Believe had 2 wins heading into this game, but they were against whether it be an NAIA school, a D2 school, stuff like that. And they do have some scorers. Their point guard, Xavier Johnson, was one of those guys who stood out to me when I was looking at some film. Not the tallest guy. I don't remember his exact height, but under 6 feet. But just a real pure scorer. Leading the team in points per game entering this one. So that is number 5, the guy right here trying to pick up Jabari right there. Yvonne got the ball down low. It's a good rip. Great pass. Great pass there by Evan. Yeah, that ability to penetrate and then dish it, whether you're kicking it out or drop it down low to a big, is what really makes AJ so dangerous. And Evan was able to mimic that pretty well during his time here this season. 5-0 ball game, 3-point shot, no good. I believe that's he has the word named Andrew at some point in his name. I'm forgetting it. I feel like it's Andrew Johnson, but I don't think that it is. But he's also one of their better scorers on the Chicago State squad. Let me look it up really quick. So it's Xavier Johnson and Andrew Lewis. Okay. Lewis being number 1. So we got a block there going the other way. Johnny, top of the arc. Can't get it to fall. And staying with Chicago State. Appreciate everybody tuning in, whether you're watching this live, going back and watching it. You guys can leave a like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So trying to get this channel off of its feet. Still waiting to hear back from our guest for Stray Shooter this upcoming Wednesday. Still waiting on that. And as we got a 3-ball here by Johnson that rattles out. I'll start gathering questions for the Aggie mailbag on Tuesday, and then both the article and the video versions will be out on Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Yvonne backing his guy down low, no good. Midi pull up, got it. Yeah, Xavier Johnson, really good scorer. One of the better scorers in the WAC. Without a doubt. His numbers kind of cooled down the stretch of WAC play. And it was actually Andrew Lewis, who has the ball right now, who became really their go-to scorer. But at this point in the season, it was a lot of Xavier Johnson. I want to say he was averaging like 15, 16 points per game. I'm just guesstimating. It's based off my memory. Let's got the ball going the other way here. 8-2 Aggies with 15:54 left in the first half. This is the second game of WAC play for them after getting that win over Cal Baptist. As you guys know, the Aggies did not lose a game in conference play. First team in conference in WAC history for men's basketball to go 16-0. So we see Evan working his way into the lane, getting the bucket. Yeah, not a whole lot of a grace period in terms of taking time for him to get familiar with the system, since he had been practicing with the team already leading up to him being deemed eligible. So he came in and was ready to go. Had that big game against Mississippi State after just a decent debut against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Yvonne, good finish. He had a great game against Mississippi State. Went out and had a great game against Northern New Mexico, and then, like we saw last night, Cal Baptist. Aggie's got the full court press. Who else getting the steal but Trev? I haven't looked at the stats. I'd imagine he led the team in steals this past season. Honestly, even with the time that he missed. Just knows where the ball is going at all times. I am waiting on some replies from our photographer right now. So if I reach in, if I'm texting on my phone, that's what that's for. You guys already know the drill by now. You shouldn't be surprised. I'm always texting or calling somebody for work-related stuff. We're just trying to get the whole situation ready for high school football practice, which begins tomorrow. So I'll be out at Cruces High School tomorrow morning, and then my sports editor Jason Groves is going to be out on Yate later in the day. And we'll try to get Mayfield and Centennial on Tuesday. So just looking to start to shift focus to high school football, with it coming up in late August. looking forward to it. Looking forward to it for sure. A lot of new faces for football. Pretty much as we see Trev with the corner pocket rocket, got it to go. Pretty much all of the 4 in-town schools for 6A last year were really heavy on the seniors, with the exception of Onyate. They had a pretty young squad. So you see a steal there, Shizzy B going the other way. That would have been something. Yeah, with the exception of Onyate, I mean, pretty much all the contributors for Las Cruces, for Centennial, for Mayfield, with the exception of just a handful of guys, were seniors. So it's going to be interesting seeing some of these new guys, get to talk to some new players, scouts and new players, stuff like that. That's always fun. So looking forward to that for sure. You see Trev with the free throw, gets it to go, and there is that text message right away. Right as I was talking about it. Yet another steal by Trev. Terrell. That's his sweet spot, on the wing. Especially in transition or off a turnover. (22-2) New Mexico State already with 13:52 left in the first half. Aggies in full control. Alrighty, 20-point game just like that. Nice pass there. Corner pocket, no good. Maybe a little contact there, but they're not calling it. Yeah, I don't remember the final score of this one. Obviously, it wasn't a very close outing. I know that much. Yeah, this was one of those where, you know, you can get the story written up by pretty much halftime, you know. So that's always nice, and I don't have to worry about a really tight print deadline. Which a lot of times this season we had. A lot of the WAC games there were a lot of single-digit outings. So we see a 3 there. I believe that's Justin Edler Davis, I believe. He actually had a couple of these threes in this game. I remember that. CJ Bobbitt got it to fall. Yeah, big man that can stretch the floor. Both CJ and Edler Davis. I'm pretty sure his last name is Davis. I know it's Edler or something. Let's see. Yeah, Keshawn Edler Davis. Wait, is that? No, that's not him. I'm very confused right now. Maybe they switched numbers or something? Because this guy at 35, I believe, is the one who just hit that three-pointer, right? I don't know. I'm a little confused right now. But we got Will down low, gets the ball stripped. Lewis going the other way for them. Yeah, this is their second best scorer on the team. To Xavier Johnson. The floater, that's usually one of his strong suits, is that floater in the lane. Since he doesn't have a lot of size, he's got a really good touch around the rim. Let me see, it's going to bother me if I don't find this guy's name. Okay, Justin Edler Davis is the Cal State Bakersfield guy, so I'm thinking of Sullivan Hunt for them. Okay, gotcha. My bad, guys. 25-7 right now in favor of the Aggies. Sean Williams at the free throw line. Got it to drop 26-7. Yeah, Sean Williams had one of his better outings in this one. I think he got double-digit points. I want to say it's like 10 or 11. Still just never really found his consistency, unfortunately. I think it was a pretty tough situation for him to be in. Them kind of throwing him into the rotation so quickly, needing him to play a little bit of point guard, stuff like that. At the end of the day, his shot just wasn't consistent enough. Definitely capable of catching fire there, as we see CJ missing the three. Lewis going the other way now. Definitely capable of catching fire. We saw that in the Cayman Islands Classic. I believe the game against USF. I think he had about 7 straight. Just fired them off. But there were a lot of games where he kind of just kind of disappeared on the offense, wasn't too much of a factor. Anyways, we got Chicago State with the ball here. Hunt passing it down low. Get it back to the big man. Got it. Got it to go. 26-9. New Mexico State already in full control here. Sean passing up on the shot. 10 seconds on the shot clock. He'll get it right back and he'll let it fly. Got it to go. Good patience there by Sean. Could have stepped into that first shot. Wasn't the best look. Just waited for the better one. All right, got Hunt with the ball here. On the top of the arc. Gets it to Lewis. Swinging it around. That's a decent look. Can't get it to fall. Jabari going the other way. Oof. Terrell has the green light on those. He thought about it. That's what he was saying when I talked to him for straight shooter, that there's not a lot of three-point shots that the Jans isn't going to give him the green light on. Got to let the shooters shoot, but that's a bad turnover there. It leads the other way. Way to make up for it, though. Jabari forcing the turnover. The start and stop. Couldn't get it to fall. That was a nice move, though, by Terrell. You got the bigger guy on you. Just freeze him up. He's looking for you to shoot that three ball. Just freeze him up and blow past him. Just couldn't finish that time. 20-point game with 9:33 left in the first half. I don't remember what my line prediction for this game was. I can probably find it here. I'll look it up later in the game because I don't want to look at the final score of this game. I don't remember it. So I'll wait a little bit. But it was definitely over 20 points is what I had it at. Which is probably the biggest point margin that I predicted for a WAC game all season. Yeah, I don't normally like to predict blowouts. I'd rather undershoot than kind of just disrespect the team, First free throw's good. 29-10. 18-point ball game here. Evan with the basketball. Chicago State doing a little bit of a press here. Not too hard to break though. Corner. Yes, sir. He's waiting for it. Trev, corner, pocket rocket, got it to go. Yeah, not really sure what's happening there with the defense, but that's a breakdown. Can't leave Trev that open. Definitely feel like he was a lock to be an all-WAC first teamer had the injury not happened. He's averaging about 14 points per game prior to it, you know. And obviously his numbers took a hit when he came back just because the first 2 or 3 games wasn't getting a whole lot of minutes to ease them back into it. So stats took a hit, but I mean without a doubt he's an all-WAC first or second team, no question about it. Still don't feel like he would have won WAC Player of the Year. Just from what I've said before, I feel like New Mexico State's system isn't made for a guy to average 20 points per game, like what you're going to see with Seattle's Terrell Brown, Cal Baptist with Milan Aqua. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Trev is the one who's people are talking about maybe getting drafted, you know. And as good as Milan is, there's no mock drafts predicting that he gets drafted in the second round. So Trev definitely as good as he gets in the WAC this year. It's a good find there. Oh, gotta make that. There you go, Ivan. 34-14, 20-point game with 8 minutes left in the first half. Xavier Johnson with the ball. Good kick out. Leads to the open 3. Can't get it to fall. And they're just going to let him walk into that one. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I don't mind that shot by Evan. But Evan's not even looking at his guy, though. Had his back to his guy the whole way. Didn't rush back after a missed shot. That's the kind of stuff that's it's really going to upset coaches. Catch and shoot. No good. And we got a timeout, but luckily it's getting edited out. Shout out to NM Aggie Athletic Archive for providing all of these videos that we've watched so far. I think with the exception of the Northern New Mexico game. I think that's the only one we didn't watch. We watched that from 04 NM Aggie. But shout out to both of those channels. You guys should definitely go and check them out. Subscribe to them, all that kind of stuff. Show them some love. Because them editing out these these stoppages really do me a big favor. It saves me a lot of time. So we got that shot just hanging to the right a bit. Because if I just let this whole game play through, I'm here for 2 hours. So making it an hour and 15 minutes, that's definitely a lifesaver. Especially when I'm doing this every night, you know. 3 ball, no good. Trev with the board. Corner pocket, no good. Tough play there. These 2 guys going for the ball, though. I don't see anything malicious there. That's a hard fall for both of them. Luckily, they both come up without any injuries. So we got another stoppage here. 34-16. I just finished going hiking for the first time in Cruces today. Went this morning with a couple people from the paper. It was fun, man. I've been really wanting to get into hiking since I got here, just because there's not really a whole lot of places where you can go in San Antonio, which is where I've lived the past decade or so. And then, I guess you could go in North Dakota, but it's mostly hills. It's not mountains, There's not real trails or anything like that, and most of the time it's just too damn cold out there anyway. So, yeah, I've been really looking forward to getting to do that. Looked like they called a flagrant on that, on boxing out. I thought he was just boxing out a little aggressively. Didn't give Johnny space to land, but I don't believe there was any harm intended there. But yeah, that was my first time getting to go do that. We went out to Dripping Springs Trail. Went out early this morning, so that was fun. Looking forward to starting to do that more often. I probably should have started earlier. I mean, I've been here for a full year now. This upcoming week is actually my first full year, or makes it a full year since I got here. Um, yeah, I know there's a lot of other places. I've heard Baylor is also really cool. You see a brick there. Look at Sean battling for the board over Hunt. And he'll stay with the Aggies. So I'm looking forward to getting to that more. I still haven't gotten to Rad yet, to the Retrocade. I think it's still closed right now, but I haven't gotten to go to that yet. There's still a couple things in Cruces I want to do. To be honest, when basketball is going on, there's just not really any free time for me. Like, I'll work weekends as well. High school football is really the same thing. So, this in-between period in the summer where there's no basketball and no high school football is normally when I would be going out more, visiting family more, that kind of stuff, using my vacation days. But just with everything closed, it's like I really haven't gotten a chance to go to too many places. But I'm starting to see some more places open up, so gonna explore a bit. 35-16, Chicago State. Good D there by Sean, locking up Xavier Johnson there. Really quick guard. Hard guy to stay in front of when he's driving. A bit of a mix up there. Hunt down low, got it to go. 35-18, just under 5 minutes left in this first half. So we got Yvonne. Gonna go to work, yes sir. Are you gonna call it travel here on him? Looks like it. I'm assuming it's a travel. He could have been in the paint too long. I do have this on mute just so that you guys can hear what I'm saying. So commentators are definitely saying what that was right now, but I can't hear it. So apologies if sometimes I sound like I'm a little bit confused what's going on. But it looked like that was the travel on Yvonne there. Anyways, 35-18 with just under 5 left. Xavier Johnson, that mid-range shot. His touch from that range is as good as it gets in the WAC. Sort of had to get that shot out of necessity since he's not he's a really undersized guard. He's able to just pull up there. Cameron Montaño says, good evening, Justin. Good evening, man. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just in time for a very exciting 35-20 ball game here. So you got the Aggies in control over Chicago State. Corner pocket, no good. Jabari with the ball. Sean's going the other way. He's finding Yvonne there. And one. Yeah, Sean's not thinking about shooting that at any point. You can tell he was just waiting for Yvonne to get open there down low. That's a good find. So Yvonne's going to get free throws here. Or one free throw. Since Nam won. So we got this game tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be. It should be UMKC, right? Missouri, Kansas City, I believe, is the next game. That one was actually a really good game. So, yeah, this is one of those rare games where it's just a blowout by the first half in the WAC. a lot of them were pretty close, so we should have a good amount of entertaining games here as we watch these whack games. Jabari stepping into the 3-ball, no good. Vaughn battling for the boards, can't save it. Just over 3 minutes left until halftime. I'll pull up the first half stats after this as we see a floater there by Johnson. Yeah, was that Johnson? Yeah, that was. Little midi for CJ, got it to go. Sean just always head on a swivel looking for the open guy. Probably could have cut to the basket there, but found CJ for the mid-range shot. 19-point ball game. Here's Lewis with the ball here. They're going to call a shot clock violation. Since it didn't hit rim, yep. .222 left until halftime in this one. Let me start pulling up the box score for this one so we can be prepared here. There we go. So got that going the other way. Chicago State ball down 19. Again, shout out to NM Aggie Athletic Archive for providing this video, cutting out all these stoppages, all that stuff. Definitely go subscribe to them. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on playback. Appreciate y'all for spending part of your weekend doing this with me. Hopefully y'all been having a good weekend. Mine's been good. You know, working a little bit, but I can't complain. I've still been working from home. We're starting to have a couple of people work from the office, but I've been working from home, so you know, even if I'm on the clock for a 9 to 5, I'm not really working a full 8 hours. So if I gotta work a little bit during the weekends, I can't complain about it. First one of the 1-and-1 is good. Second one on the way, got it to go. 39-22. You got Sean trying to break the press here by Chicago State. Hasn't been too effective yet this first half, and New Mexico State breaks it pretty easy. Not really a point in bringing those guys out if you're not even trying to trap or anything like that. I don't think Chicago State is forced to turnover yet with that press, as we got Terrell with the 3-ball on the other end. It's a good rip there. Yes, sir. Jabari going the other way. I believe that's the dunk right there that our photographer got a really great photo of, because this was the very first game where he attached a camera behind the backboard on this other side of the court where Jabari just dunked it. And yeah, we got a really good photo that I'm actually going to use as the thumbnail for this video, so you guys will see it later. But yeah, we started to use that backboard camera a lot more and got some really cool stuff. We got a cool one from Johnny later in the season, I think, too. I think from Trev, but that Jabari Rice one is probably my favorite. So got the Aggies doubling up right now. running the other way. They looking for Terrell. You already know. You know it doesn't drop on that one. If there's a fast break, Terrell is running to the wing. And if Sean Buchanan has the ball especially, he's finding Terrell. Without a doubt. Anyways, we got 16 seconds left. So Cameron Montaño asked, do you think Milan Aqua will get drafted by an NBA team? I don't see him getting drafted, but I could definitely see him getting onto a summer league squad. Getting into the G League if that's the route that he wants to take. He could easily go overseas. If you're just a walking bucket, somebody's gonna pay you overseas to go out there and put up some crazy numbers. But I could definitely see him finding his way into the NBA. Might just take the G League route at first for him. But for right now, I don't see him getting drafted. We see the first free throw good, 44-23. Got a 19-point game here, folks. 8.1 seconds left in this first half. So once this is over, I do have the first half box score pulled up. I'll just start reading it right now because there's not really any stoppage in between these videos. 6 points for Solomon Hunt, number 35. That's a big man for Chicago State. Then 5 for Andrew Lewis, 4 for Xavier Johnson. Trevelyan Queen already with 13 points and 2 steals and 5 rebounds. So we got Evan racing down the court. Finds Johnny, yes sir. That's that burst I'm talking about with Evan where I want to see that race between him and AJ. That's that burst. So yeah, 13 points for Trev, 5 boards and 2 steals. 8 points and 5 boards for Yvonne already at the halfway point. And then 6 points for Terrell Brown. Aggie shooting 48.5% from the floor. Chicago State shot 30.8%. And Chicago State had 8 turnovers compared to New Mexico State's 5. So there's your first half stats. Stephen M. Justin, thanks for another great show. We need to hook you up with some Aggie gear. Appreciate you for tuning in. Stephen, as always. Hooking up some great Aggie gear. That'd be cool, man. I actually have this thing that I'm going to be doing where everywhere that I work, I want to have a jersey of the team that I cover. So going to UT Austin, I've got a Kevin Durant UT jersey. In Minot, North Dakota, I had their NAHL hockey team, which I covered a little bit of, the Minotauros. So I've got the hockey jersey. And then here, I think definitely basketball, but I would really like to get a Pascal Siakam one for the Aggies. I think that's what I really want to get. I've been trying to find it, but I can only find the the ones that aren't authentic, which I would still do. It's not like I'm going to wear it. I'm going to frame them all up, and eventually when I get my own home and stuff like that, I'll actually have a room and I'll line them up and stuff. So yeah, that's probably at the top of my list, but I've had people say that they want to get me some Aggie gear here for a background or something, which would be cool, but I actually just got the thumbs up to get a green screen for my straight shooter stuff and for my straight shooter podcast, which is now going to be video based during the season. So I'm going to be using that. So I'm not gonna need to put anything in the background, but yeah, look, I definitely want to get a jersey for sure for New Mexico State. So we got a 48-26 game. Stephen M asked, "What size do you wear?" Just t-shirts. I'm a large. Jersey, usually a medium, is what I wear. But yeah, if I do get a Pascal thing, it'll just be something that I'll frame and I'll put alongside the other jerseys that I've been kind of collecting. You see a corner 3 there. Yeah, so that's the plan. I know a lot of people keep like, as we see Vaughn with the three ball, I believe that's back to back games with one. As we see, um, that's good. You see, did he do this right here? I think he did that. That's funny. What was I saying? Yeah, some people like to collect their like newspapers, whatever headlines they've been in, stuff like that. I don't know. To me, I would never look at them, so I've never kept a piece of my newspaper articles. To me, it's like jerseys and stuff like that is stuff I really want to collect. And I do have a little bit of Aggie gear, like when they were giving away free hats at the games and stuff. Obviously, I get there really early because I get there like 2 hours before the game, just to make sure everything's good with our photographer and all that kind of stuff. Nice triple there. Um, so yeah, I've got all the hats from this past season, and then I've just got like some basic like New Mexico State shirts, just like the ones you can buy at like Walmart or Dick's or whatever. But no jerseys, no athletic wear just yet. So that Pascal Siakam one is definitely one that I want to get. Because I was definitely already a really big fan of Pascal before I got the job here, and then having him go to New Mexico State is just another reason to get a jersey. Because I've liked the Raptors for a decent while, even though the Warriors are my team. I've got a Jose Calderon jersey. Like I was a fan of the Raptors back for that squad, like Jose Calderon. What was his name? Gray. There's center down low, Aaron Gray. Um, a lot of guys like that. So I've got one of those. I've got like a DeMar DeRozan jersey. So I've been looking into getting a Pascal one for a while. So we got Evan with the ball here. Wide open shot by Trev. Yes, sir. He's been feeling it this game. Had 13 points in this first half. Just adding on to it. I don't. This coverage by Chicago State, this defense, a little shaky. The press, not very effective, and then that's the second or third wide open shot on the perimeter for Trev. Can't be doing that. There's another steal by him, and that's going the other way. So we got a foul called here. Cameron Montano, what do you think will be a strength and weakness this upcoming season for the Aggies? Um, I'd say strength is. Let me go with weakness first, because weakness pretty off the bat, or right off the bat, is just their big man depth, especially if some of these transfers don't come in or aren't given immediate eligibility. I could definitely see, um, them struggling with depth there. But for strength, I think they're still bringing back plenty of guys, and that's something that the rest of the WAC really isn't going to have. Like, you look at Seattle losing Terrell Brown, losing, what's the name of their other guy that they had? I'm blanking on him, but he was their second leading scorer. Um, you look at just all these other teams, Cal Baptist losing pretty much his whole starting five. Like, New Mexico State is bringing back already a lot of chemistry. Because even though they've gotten a lot of incoming transfers, their starting five is pretty much the same, Their starting five is all guys who are very much familiar with the system. So I really don't think there's going to be nearly as much of a learning curve for just the team learning how to play with each other as there's going to be with a lot of these other WAC schools. Like, a lot of these other WAC schools are figuring out a lot of new things. Xavier Johnson is gone for Chicago State, and I believe Andrew Lewis graduated too. Um, yeah, so I would say just experience for New Mexico State is going to be a big strength. And if you want to get technical into the actual what they do well, then definitely their defensive abilities are going to be just as good. Because you're still going to have a guy like Johnny McCants, Will McNair, Clayton Henry, Um, I think that that New Mexico State's press really gave, honestly, the whole WAC problems. There wasn't really a team that they could break that press. And so I definitely see them being the best defensive team in the WAC once again this year. But yeah, there's not really a lot of like weaknesses for the team in terms of like their playing style and stuff like that. You can say they're not going to be the tallest team, but then again, it's the WAC where there's not a lot of height in the WAC. You know, you can say they're not going to have a lot of big man depth, but at the same time, there's a lot of other teams in the WAC that lost a lot of really key contributors. So like in that sense, I really don't think they have a glaring like Achilles heel or anything like that. You know, no reason to believe that that they wouldn't be the favorites this upcoming season. So we got a 55-34 ball game. Corner pocket rocket got it to go. 16 minutes left. Got Johnny's thinking about it there, but he's going to hold off. Oh, got him on the fake pass. He don't get free throws. I just got an injury here. A little fake pass by Yvonne, and then the spin move. You see Yvonne trying to help him up. I don't remember what that injury was, or who. I didn't see who that was. Hopefully nothing too bad there. 55-37, 15:41 left. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Whether it's live or rewatching it. Appreciate y'all spending some of your weekend with me. Tomorrow night's gonna be Kansas City. Let me just make sure, because I think that's like, it is like the second or third time I've said that, but I haven't actually gone back and checked. I'm really not trying to look ahead and like, let me see. It is Kansas City, okay. Yeah, there are a lot of points during this where it maybe seems like, you know, I don't remember some of these guys' names or the exact stats and stuff like that, or like who they play next. I could go and research it before every single game for this kind of month-long thing, but I don't know. I kind of like just rewatching it with you guys and giving you like my genuine reaction as it's happening. You know, I just think it's a little bit more authentic that way. So we see almost a lob there by Trev. So that's kind of been my thought process with that. But then we got Cameron Montano asking, who do you think in the WAC could challenge the Aggies this upcoming season? I'd say the biggest threat is probably Grand Canyon. They're bringing Alessandro Lever back, who's their top scorer. They did lose Carlos Johnson, who was very nearly their top scorer and their best guard. But, you know, even then, like I said, they got Lever down low. They got Javon Blackshear Jr., who I really like a lot. True freshman. Got the Freshman of the Year award in the WAC. Somebody whose assist to turnover ratio was ridiculous. I don't remember the exact number, but it was something like about 3 assists for every turnover. And usually if you're a guard, you just strive to have double the amount. So he had triple. So really smart with the basketball. Not necessarily like an ISO scorer or anything like that, but somebody that just facilitates really well. And they're just one of those few teams that didn't lose its lead scorer this past season and didn't lose half of its starting lineup, you know. So they weren't hit nearly as bad as some of these other teams by the graduating class. So I can definitely see them being the second biggest threat. But at the end of the day, I still think, like, with that being said, there's a really big gap between New Mexico State at number 1 and then Grand Canyon at number 2. I just think the Aggies are bringing back way too much talent. Offensively, I'm still putting them as the best offensive team. even though I believe Seattle averaged the most points per game last season, but with their two leading scorers gone, that's going to go down. So New Mexico State should be averaging the most points, and they should still have the best defense as well. So I really think there's still a pretty big gap. But Grand Canyon's probably my next pick. So we got a 3-ball there. I really think the team that I would have been keeping an eye on would have been Cal State Bakersfield, actually, had they not left the WAC. But if you looked at their roster, I mean, they're a team that played New Mexico State very tight when they came here to the Pan Am last season. And then if you looked at their roster, I think they only had one senior. It was pretty much their entire starting five was all juniors. So it's all guys that they're bringing back. Justin Edler Davis, Taze Moore. Like, this is a team that can shoot the 3-ball like crazy. It's going to be pretty much in the same position where New Mexico State was last season, where they can roll out an entire senior starting five, which even New Mexico State won't be able to do this upcoming year. So that probably would have been my actual pick for the biggest threat, but with them gone, it's got to be Grand Canyon to me. We got Stephen M. asking any views on how UTEP team is looking. I haven't really kept up too much with it. I've seen all the guys transferring out, but to be honest with you, I haven't looked at it too much. I really don't start to look at what other teams are doing until the schedule's out and I can, start working on those articles where I predict who wins and stuff like that. So, yeah, to be honest, I'm not completely up to date with all the UTEP news. Same with UNM. I know the guys who left, but don't know too much about the incoming pieces. So we got a 58-41 ball game. 13:09 left in this game. Xavier Johnson with the free throw, no good. Second free throw here. Got it to go. We're going to have a timeout, I believe. No? No, it's a sub. Chicago State with the full court press. But let's see if they're even trapping on here. Like, look, what is... Like, how hard is that really to press? And then you got to worry about getting back, I just feel like if you're going to full court press, actually press them, get up in their jersey, try to trap them. There's not a lot of movement. It's completely different from what you see with New Mexico State where, Trev is kind of the free guy at half court flying around. You got Sean and Terrell trying to trap you along the sideline. Just not a whole lot of movement on Chicago State's end. It's just really easy to break that. And then you got to worry about getting back, getting in position. It usually leads to a bucket on the other end. But I digress. We got a 16-point game here. Cameron Montano, also Oscar Freire returns for Grand Canyon after being ineligible last season because of academics. That's another guy. Yeah, Grand Canyon I think is probably gonna be the second most experienced team. Because I'm still trying to think of the other squads. Like UTRGV is losing Jordan Jackson. They're losing Leslie Varner. The third, they're only returning Javon Levi, who, as good as he is being the defensive player of the year, he's not really somebody that is going to be your top scorer, So they're losing guys. Like I said, Seattle is. Utah Valley losing Isaiah White. I believe losing TJ Washington also. Brandon Averetti gone as well. So Yeah, no, Grand Canyon just kind of is. I'm picking them as like the biggest threat just because everybody else is losing so many people. You know. 62-42. Tobias Rodriguez. Frere was good his sophomore year. Appreciate you for tuning in, Tobias. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, Grand Canyon should still have a decent squad there. And then in terms of the new schools, I don't really see Dixie State or Tarleton State having as quick of a turnaround as like what you saw with Cal Baptist. I think it's going to take them a couple years. So it should be New Mexico State at the top of the food chain, and then a pretty big gap before we see Grand Canyon. As we got Sean Williams with the three here, 65-42. Pull up, no good. Aggie's going the other way. Tobias says, "What's up, Justin? How are you? I've been busy these last few weeks. Finally had the chance to tune in. I missed you, Tobias. Nah, I understand, man. I appreciate you for tuning in. Um, yeah, no, I've been good. I've been good. Still trying to, um, just trying to get some of this high school football coverage out there. That's kind of what the higher ups have been telling me to prioritize recently. So that's why I haven't had a whole lot of New Mexico State actual articles. You know, I've been trying to put out videos at least for you guys, but in terms of articles, they really want us to try to start to preview all the high school football stuff. So as much as I like that, it's not as fun for me as New Mexico State basketball. So there's that. But other than that, you know, I've been good. I've been good. No complaints. We got Johnny on the wing here, gets to Jabari. Don't get me wrong, guys. As soon as there's any, like, you know, actual news regarding New Mexico State, I definitely will be all on top of that. I'm waiting to hear about A.J. Harris, waiting to hear about the schedule, waivers that are pending for these incoming transfers, stuff like that. I'm definitely still monitoring that, but other than that, football's kind of having to become the next thing on the top of my list. So we got Tobias asking, are you covering local high school football? Yeah, so the two things I mostly cover is New Mexico State basketball and then high school football. I'll do a little bit of like college volleyball and women's basketball, but those are the big two. And it's usually just the four major schools in town. So Cruces, Oñate, Centennial, and Mayfield, even though they're 5A now. But like even those four would just me to handle it can be a lot when you're like previewing everything. So I've just been focusing on that lately. Especially because like I was saying, pretty much all of those four schools lost a really big senior class. So had everybody just been coming back, I could write these previews really easily, but for the most part, all of their top contributors are gone. So like I'm having to learn new names, do more like do film on new players, stuff like that. So it's just a lot of work getting that done. But I love it though. I love breaking down film for players, whether it's basketball or football. Like that to me is the most fun. Like that's my favorite part of Straight Shooter is getting to break down film of players. As much as like the jokes and everything are fun, getting to actually really see how these guys' minds work and stuff like that is just really fun for me. $69-42. 9:30 left in the second half, folks. Aggie's up by 27. Yeah, I'll look up my prediction for this game at the end. I had to have had them winning by at least 20. But I don't remember it. We'll see. It's a good take. That's Andrew Lewis. Looks like he's back. Hit the deck a bit hard there. Yeah, let me try to find my article here. Let's see. You guys already know I struggle to to look up old games on our site. It's one of the most frustrating things for me. Let's see. You see the free throw good there. Can't find it there. I can find the most recent game as we see the shot there good. I can find the most recent one there. Okay, I found the recap game article. Is this it? There we go. Okay. Cool. So for this one, I had the final score as 88-51. I'm not too far off. I don't remember what the final score was. I'll look it up, or I won't look it up. We'll just wait until we see what it is. But 88-51 was my final score prediction for this one. Interesting. We'll see how close I end up. Yeah, and I'll have the recap article up here also, so that once the game's over, we can look up quotes and stuff like that. We talked to Jans, we talked to Sean, and we talked to Sean Buchanan. So we talked to 3 guys, so we'll go over the quotes after this game also. Good stuff. Tobias says, not a bad prediction. Yeah, that one, we'll see how accurate it is. But let's see, what did I say? 80, I already forgot it. I think 81-58, something like that. Yeah, not too far off. All right, 72-45 right now. Yeah, and that's one of those rare occasions, like I said, where I actually pick a blowout. I don't like to do that, you know. Normally I try to shoot under, but for these, you kind of know how it's going to play out. Although I will say the second game against Chicago State, the Cougars actually played pretty close. They played a pretty close game, a lot closer than I predicted. But we'll get into that later in the season. That was one of the last couple games of the year. That was Edmonds' homecoming game, being from Chicago. Actually, he got an offer from Chicago State. So this is a team that had offered him, but ultimately went to UTEP before transferring here. Yeah, he got a lot of offers from plenty of the other Chicago schools, like Chicago Loyola was one of the other ones to offer him. Star point guard at Simeon High School. Tobias asked, do you think Chicago State will win a conference game this year? I'll say yeah. I haven't looked at too deeply at the rest of the WAC in terms of who their new guys coming in, but just from what I've seen, there's a lot of teams that are going to be rolling out a lot of new faces. So, based off of that, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say one game, I think. But that's about it. I think I predicted them to go winless at the beginning of last season. And I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, they don't have Andrew Lewis or Xavier Johnson. But maybe I'm being optimistic, So I'll give them a win just because there are going to be a lot of teams this year that I think are going to struggle, especially early on in WAC play. Just with guys finding new roles and stuff like that. I don't know how close Chicago State got to a win last season. Let me look that up. Honestly, I think New Mexico State was one of their closest games that second time around. Let me look that up really quick. Yeah, because they didn't have too many games where they only lost by single digits in terms of WAC play, because they did win a couple non-conference games against some JUCO schools and all that kind of stuff. Let's see, what was their closest game? They lost by 14 to Grand Canyon. They lost by 11 to UTRGV, 10 to Cal State Bakersfield. Yeah, so 10 was their closest one. So they didn't have a single-digit game. That New Mexico State one, apparently New Mexico State extended it at the end, made it 22. But yeah, 10 points was the closest they got last year, and they got 4 wins in non-conference play. But sure, why not? I'll give them one for this year. I will put out one of those articles, like once the schedule's out and stuff like that, I'll definitely put out, predicting every single game for New Mexico State this upcoming season, like what I did prior to last year. And I'll go through and I'll predict all of them whenever we get the schedule. Whenever we do. New Mexico State is usually pretty slow to do that. So it might even be like a month or two before the start of the season, Might be a while. Once that happens, I'll do that. I'll predict, I'll probably put out a separate article predicting the entire WAC standings, which I think I did last year too. So I'll do all that stuff. I wish I could just do it right now. Like, I really do. There's just not a lot of stuff set in stone right now. Johnny with the steal, finding Evan, get it back to him. Yes, sir. Remember that one for sure. Tobias, LOL, how many people hated on you for your NMSU prediction last year? I had a lot. Because I predicted that they were going to split with UTEP, is what I predicted they would do. And I got a lot of hate for that. A lot of people calling me a clown, stuff like that. And obviously they did end up splitting with UTEP, but I don't know. I'm not really one of those that's going to be on Twitter and be like, told you so, or anything like that. So I didn't say anything about it. But definitely when people were calling me out for that, I was like, okay, I get that y'all don't like UTEP, but they had a good squad last year before all the issues they had off the court, or just within the team. Like, they had a good squad, and I definitely didn't think that was crazy. And then I think I want to say I picked them to split with UNM too. I think so. Or no, I actually said they were going to sweep UNM, so I was way off on that one. Because Yeah, I think if I would have said they would split with UNM, I probably would have heard just as much from people. So, but that was really the only thing that the people got upset about was just saying they were going to lose a game or two to their rivals. Other than that, I don't think there were too many that people disagreed with. Like I said, they were going to lose to Arizona. I actually said they were going to lose to Mississippi State. So New Mexico State proved me wrong on that one. And I got no problem being wrong. I know there's a lot of people, whenever I do predict a game wrong, they're like, oh, that's what you get for underestimating them or this and that. You know, you don't know anything. It's like, I don't mind being wrong, guys. I'll be the first one to admit when I'm wrong about stuff. I picked that UTEP was gonna beat New Mexico State when they came to the Pan Am, because that's when New Mexico State was still hadn't turned things around. And it was a close game. It was a one possession game, so I wasn't far off. Right after the game, I was like, hey, New Mexico State proved me wrong. They played great basketball out there that night, I got no problem with that. Look at Sean with the rip. Oh, Sean's mad. Sean is mad. He wanted that highlight play. You see him pushing Will there, too? He wanted that highlight play. That was a good hustle there by Sean. But yeah, at the end of the day, my stuff is just predictions. Like, I always think it's funny when they call people on ESPN like the experts. Oh, here's the expert prediction. Like, there's some scientific thing for it. There's not, dude. Like, anybody can beat anyone on any given night, especially like when you're just predicting within a single conference. So like, at the end of the day, I know I'm gonna be wrong for a couple of these, and I don't mind it. My job is just to try to break down the matchup as much as possible, and just give my educated guess. There's no bias towards anything. Nothing like that. Got an 81-47 game. Evan's looking for contact there. That looked pretty clean though. It's a good strip. Nice, fine. Beautiful pass there. I do want to actually go back and find what my record prediction was for last season. You see Sean with the 3 ball. I don't think that'd be too hard to find. New Mexico State basketball season predictions. There it is. All right, let's see what I got. All right, let's just go all the way to the bottom. So I had them. My number's not going to be perfectly right because, I didn't know who they were going to play in the Cayman Islands Classic past the first round. So I only predicted the first game against Colorado State. And then obviously I didn't predict the WAC tournament or anything like that. So I had the Aggies going 25-4 with the exception of their extra 2 games against South Florida and George Mason in the tournament. But even then, I did predictions prior to the game. So I had South Florida, one was right, and then I had them beating George Mason, which I was wrong at. So that's another 1-1. So let's see. And then what was their actual record here? I had them at 25-4. They went 25-6. So not bad, as we see Tennessee with the bucket there. 2 games off. I'll take that. That's not bad. And there were 2 games that I didn't know who they were going to play, so yeah, I'm good with that. But to be fair, there were a couple games that they would have won had they just not been injured. And when I put out that article, I'm pretty sure I think just the A.J. Harris injury had been reported by then, I think. Anyways. Tobias says exactly anyone can beat anyone on any given night. I think if we lose a conference game this year, is because we beat ourselves. Yeah, I mean that's my exact mindset. It's like, you know, if I'm gonna predict the game because that's my job. But like, do I enjoy predicting games? Not really. Because what do I have to gain? You know, like if I get it right, nobody's gonna bring it up. If I get it wrong, people are gonna call me a clown. So like, I don't like doing it, and especially because it's so unpredictable. But it is what it is. Yeah, and then honestly, I agree with the conference part. Um, there definitely were a lot of games that New Mexico State could have lost this past season, and I think it was just veteran leadership that pushed them through. So, with some of those guys gone, I could see them maybe losing a game, but like even then, I think that's the most I could see. And I think I predicted they were going to lose one game prior to the start of the season, just because I don't like predicting a perfect run, because then there's just no room for error, you know. So I'll probably predict that they'll drop one of these games, but like I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went undefeated again. I tend to like to play it safe with my predictions, if you can't tell. Like, I don't like to predict blowouts. I don't like to predict perfect runs. I'd rather play it safe, and if the team proves me wrong, then hey, props to them. We see Tennessee finding the open spot, moves so well without the basketball. Gets the 3-ball to fall. I think last year the only loss I predicted was one to Cal Baptist, I'm pretty sure. I think it was their conference opener. And by that I mean in my preseason prediction. Like, once it was the day before the game, I predicted they were going to beat Cal Baptist. But like prior to the start of the season, I think that was the only one I thought they'd lose. We see Bryce with the 3-ball. Doesn't even have to get his feet set, man. Catch and shoot. Absolutely lethal. $93-52. Under a minute left. Once this is over, we're going to look up the box score from this game. And we will look up the quotes, because we did get to talk to Jans. We got to talk to Sean Buchanan and Yvonne out at Coachella after this game. So we'll check that out. And then tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time is going to be the first game against Missouri, Kansas City, which was a good one. So definitely you guys want to come check that out with me. So we're doing this every night, folks. Haven't had any problems with the copyright claims for the WAC game so far. So that's good. Looks like we're in the clear with all that, after having a little bit of problems during non-conference play. Aggie's going to dribble it out and get one more shot attempt here. No, actually it's a turnover. That should do it. Chicago State will probably take a shot here. Yeah, there it is. Look at Sean going up for the board. He's got the hops, folks. Don't get it twisted. Sean has the hops. But that'll do it. 93-54. Look, hey, there's the hops. Almost. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick look at the final box score before we get out of here, folks. Let's do that. Let me find that real quick. So for Chicago State, it was Xavier Johnson with 14 points and 3 boards on 5 for 14 shooting. That was their leading scorer going into this one, so not much of a surprise. And Andrew Lewis, their second leading scorer, had 10 points and 6 boards on just 2 for 6 shooting. We went 6 for 6 from the free throw line. 19 turnovers for Chicago State, and they shot 32% from the floor, 26.3% from deep, and 81% from the charity stripe. For Chicago State, for New Mexico State, it was Trevelyan Queen with 17 points, 4 steals, and 6 rebounds, filling up the stat sheet. 4 for 8 shooting, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Both Yvonne and Jabari with 14 points apiece. Yvonne had 8 boards, so just shy of a double-double. And then the only other double-digit scorer was Sean Williams with 11 points. Aggie shot 49.2% from the floor, 47.1% from deep, and 76% from the charity stripe. 10 turnovers in that one. Let's take a quick look at the quotes. Hear what they had to say after the game. This is Coach Jans on the team's hot start. He said, "I thought we came out of the gates well and certainly set the tone defensively. We got a pretty big lead to start the game. The whole first half, I thought we played well." Yeah, definitely that full court press they ran in that first half. They were up 26 minutes into the game or something like that. So definitely that set the tone, and that's one of the things that the Aggies do so well is they're going to punch you in the mouth as soon as that game starts. Sean Buchanan on the forced turnover, speaking of which, he says, "I just think whenever you get on defense in the game, you score often and get your easy buckets. They help you just run off sometimes. We think about getting stops every time down the court." And then Yvonne, this is him talking about playing without A.J. Harris and Clayton Henry, because A.J. Harris got hurt in the prior game against Cal Baptist, and then Clayton Henry got hurt a couple days after to hit the game against Northern New Mexico. He says, "We miss them. Everybody knows that they are special players for us. Everybody loves them. We love them, and we need them. We learn how to play without them, and that's why we have to keep going." And keep going they did. Next game is against UMKC tomorrow night. But I think that's going to do it for us here tonight, folks. Shout out to everybody tuning in, whether you're watching this live or on playback. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notification bell so you can get notified every time that we go live or anytime we publish stuff, guys, because we got plenty of stuff. Next episode of Stray Shooter is going to be on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Still waiting to hear back from my special guest, but I'll let you guys know once that is set up. And then we'll also be having our Aggie mailbag where I answer questions from you guys about the team. That's going to be every Thursday. And I'll start collecting questions for that on Tuesday. So you guys can reach me on Twitter at JTheSportsDude. You can message us on our Facebook page. That's Las Cruces Sun News Sports. You can email me directly at jmmartinez@gannett.com. Or you can just tune into these live streams, guys. I feel like I'm pretty available. If you want to reach out to me, it's not that hard. You can just join these live streams, comment something, and I'll very happily, screenshot it. I'll use it for a Stray Shooter interview. I'll use it for Aggie mailbag. Just more reasons to tune in during these live streams, guys. Tobias says, "Thank you, Justin." Thank you, Tobias, for tuning in. Stephen M. says, "Great show." Appreciate you as always, Stephen. And I think that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully y'all had a good weekend, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow night for this game against UMKC. But that's going to do it. This has been Justin Martinez, a.k.a. J the Sports Dude, and I'm out.